And a wild scene here as investigators say the apparent target of this deadly gunfire, a rapper from the Atlanta area. They say a pretty well-known rapper, too, in this area, along with a second person in his black Cadillac Escalade. May have been a relative, may have been a member of his entourage. We don't know, but it's that second person, not the rapper, but the second person who was hit by gunfire, dies from the gunfire. Let's get right into it. Mike, you'll give you a look. The gas station here, this is right across the street from the busy Beverly Center on La Cienega. See all that broken glass there? That's where the Escalade is parked. They're getting gas when all of a sudden the windows are blown out by gunfire. They're under attack by bullets flying all over the place. To the left, Mike, you'll give you a look. See all those white evidence markers on the ground? Each one of those is by a shell casing. Gives you an idea how many rounds are fired. Police say in that alleyway, the white vehicle pulls up. 3 men get out, and they start firing at will, blasting away, targeting that black SUV, the rapper, and his second person inside. Up top, Sky Fox, a better look at this area so you can imagine the chaos here. It's right across the street, catty corner from the busy Beverly Center. About 5:30, 5:40 in the afternoon, rush hour traffic going by on La Cienega. Shoppers at the Beverly Center, and you have bullets flying like crazy here. 3 gunmen firing at will at that black SUV. Hit several times, and they drive off trying to make a getaway to get away from the bullets that are flying. Some more video now. Ground video gives you an idea of how this plays out. So once that SUV is hit by the gunfire, they take off, they hit the gas, and they drive a few blocks away into West Hollywood. They wind up stopping over at Santa Monica and San Vicente, right in the very heart of West Hollywood. You know, over there by the sheriff's station, also by the West Hollywood Park. They pull over there because the wounds to the man who was hit inside the Escalade too severe. He's bleeding. They pull over. 911 is called. Paramedics rush in. They take the injured man who's hit by gunfire to the ER. He does not make it, does not survive. So that area now in West Hollywood, also very busy, as you can imagine, on a Friday night, late summer. That is all tied up as a part of this investigation, a deadly shooting investigation. Then you have the second location here at the gas station where bullets fly. Investigators say the manhunt is on now. The manhunt on for these 3 gunmen who, as one witness said, turned into hitmen, almost execution style. Listen to the lieutenant.
They gassed up their vehicle, and as they were getting into their vehicle, a white car approached from the alley. 3 men got out of that car. They were in all dark clothing. They approached, fired numerous shots, and then left in that white car going eastbound in the alley north of Beverly. It does appear that we don't see any kind of argument or anything go on beforehand, so clearly these men came here with a mission in mind.
Now you're looking live. The mission in mind is gunfire targeting that black SUV, the rapper inside apparently. Still this area, they're still questioning a few people over there. Investigators want to make sure that there wasn't gunfire back and forth. Doesn't appear to be the case, but to give you an idea, the shots rang out there, and right across the street, the Beverly Center. Imagine that, 5:30 in the afternoon. Incredibly, no one else hit by the gunfire. You saw all the rounds that are fired. So at this late hour, we've got 3 gunmen on the loose. We've got a white vehicle that's the target of the manhunt, and a man who has died in that black SUV tied to the rapper who's from the Atlanta area. For now, we are live here in the Hollywood area. Ed Lascos, back to both of you.
Do we not know the rapper's name yet, Ed?
No indications yet. Investigators, I think, have a very good idea. They're not releasing anything yet because they're still trying to put the tie together on the man who dies here. They don't know if it's a relative or maybe a part of the entourage. So, you know, a lot of these fellows always have a big entourage they travel with. So I think until they can get that ID nailed down, particularly notifying family members and relatives, they're not saying at this point.
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lim. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm going to give you the rundown.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk is charged in a murder-for-hire plot.
Lil Durk's real name is Dirk Bank, and he is from Chicago. This is his mugshot from Florida, where he was arrested last night and is being held without bond. This comes only hours after 5 people associated with his music business were also accused and taking part in that murder-for-hire plot. Now, the plot targeted rapper Quando Rondo's cousin, who was killed in 2022. Investigators believe it was retaliation for the earlier murder of Chicago rapper King Von.
Chicago-born rapper Lil Durk appeared before a federal judge in Florida this morning. He was arrested there Thursday in a murder-for-hire plot. Coming off his first Grammy win earlier this year, Chicago-bred rapper Lil Durk is now facing charges in connection to a murder-for-hire plot. The 32-year-old was born Durk Banks. U.S. Marshals took Banks into custody on Thursday in Broward County. Banks appeared in federal bond court this morning. Now, details about the rapper's arrest or charges have not been released. 5 members of Durk's Only the Family group, also known as OTF, were indicted by a California grand jury this week on charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Banks' arrest comes just weeks after he was named in a lawsuit which alleges the rapper had a hand in a 2020 gang-related deadly shooting of a Chicago rapper, FBG Duck, born Carlton Weekly. Weekly was killed in the Gold Coast neighborhood by a group of masked men as he waited to enter a high-end store. 6 purported gang members were convicted of carrying out Weekly's murder. Weekly's mother spoke with ABC7's Karen Jordan after filing the lawsuit.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him.
Now, Lil Durk and his team did not comment on that lawsuit. We'll be sure to update you when we learn more about the charges the rapper is now facing.
CBS News Miami's Peter Dench joins us from outside the federal courthouse in downtown Miami, where Lil Durk appeared today. Peter?
Well, Lauren and Elliot, we can tell you that federal authorities say the rapper offered a bounty to kill a rival rapper in Los Angeles. Now he's facing charges including murder for hire resulting in a death. Many know rapper Lil Durk for this song. He won a Grammy this year for All My Life. Now that life is darker. The 32-year-old singer, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, is facing federal charges including murder for hire resulting in a death. According to these federal indictments, 5 of his associates, known as OTF or Only the Family members, took part in the plot. As depicted in these photos from their indictments, authorities say they tried to kill rival rapper Quando Rondo in August of 2022 at a Los Angeles gas station. It resulted in the death of Quando Rondo's 24-year-old cousin after 18 shots were fired. They say Banks made it known that he would pay a bounty to anyone who killed Rondo, whose real name is Taekwon Bowman. The criminal complaint against Durk Banks says evidence shows that Banks ordered TB's murder and that the hitman used Banks and OTF-related finances to carry out the murder. Authorities say Banks was arrested Thursday night in Miami Springs as he attempted to flee the United States. In court, a federal prosecutor asked that he be held without bond because he is a flight risk. He will now face another hearing. Outside court, we tried to speak with Banks' attorney and his father. They declined to say anything about the charges against Banks or the upcoming hearing. Now, Banks' next hearing will be about his pre-trial detention and will be held in the Central District of California since the crime originally happened in Los Angeles. At this point, no date has been set for that hearing.
Say my, hey my, hey man, it's OG Jucario. Now back at you with another one. And I had to come slide on the YouTube block because rapper Lil Durk has been arrested in Florida on murder for hire charges. That's right. The Chicago-born artist born Durk Banks was arrested on Thursday and is currently being held at Broward County, Florida jail, according to arrest records currently viewed by the USA Today. The 32-year-old Grammy winner is awaiting transfer to U.S. Marshals. More details on his arrest have yet to be released, but yet it comes after 5 people were hit with federal murder for hire charges for the alleged targeting of Georgia rapper Quando Rondo in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper King Von, according to the indictment filed by U.S. District Court in Los Angeles and obtained by USA Today Friday. Prosecutors claim all 5 people, named Kevon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston, have ties to Banks' hip-hop group, Only the Family, or better yet known as OTF. King Von, born Davon Bennett, was an affiliate of the hip-hop collective and friend and frequent collaborator of Banks, including on the track Crazy Story. And Banks was featured on Bennett's debut studio album, Welcome to O-Block. In December of 2020, Banks released the track The Voice in tribute to Bennett, who died November 6, 2020 at 26 following a shooting outside a nightclub in Atlanta. Bennett was shot around 3:20 a.m. during an argument between two groups of men that escalated to gunfire, according to a statement provided by the Atlanta Police Department at the time. In the Los Angeles, California shooting that occurred, where Quando Rondo was targeted at that gas station, him and his entourage, right, when gunmen rolled up and shot up the vehicle there that Quando Rondo and his friends were in. And this article, this update to this story, where Lil Durk and his entourage, his hitmen that he hired allegedly, are being arrested and charged for murder for hire, right? They're saying that actually Quando Rondo was that target that those gunmen were aiming for, but ended up killing Lil Paul, right? So now we have a situation where Dirk Banks, Lil Durk, the rapper, Grammy Award winning, is now behind bars for the crime, the murder for hire plot to kill Quando Rondo in retaliation for Lil Durk's artist, King Von. Wowzers. Yes, 2024 has been the year of revelation. A lot of things have been getting revealed. A lot of people have been getting caught up for things and crimes that, alleged crimes that they were said to have been a part of and orchestrated. And, you know, and it's steady trickling down. The year hasn't, you know, ended yet. And now we have another one biting the dust, right? We have Lil Durky, the cooked turkey, right, behind bars today and being federally transported by the U.S. Marshals, right, because of this murder for hire plot that he was allegedly a part of, you guys. Yikes. Now, that USA Today report was an updated report. It didn't tell us too many details, but in another recent report, I read that the flights and the rental cars were paid for by a credit card linked back to OTF, Only the Family, which is Lil Durk's label there. And so this right here is very incriminating as well, and this is one of the clues that gave them to who pulled off this hit at that gas station on Quando Rondo and his entourage that led up to Lil Paul losing his life. Now you have Durk in this situation. He's awaiting U.S. Marshals, right, to pick him up and have him in custody. After Durk was arrested for those murder for hire charges, he faced a federal judge today. And guess what? Bond denied. So Lil Durk will be, you know, detained. He will be jailed until they, you know, possibly can, you know, appeal this bond or whatnot. But yeah, man, as of right now, they're saying that, you know, Lil Durk is arrested for murder for hire charges. The alleged plot to kill Quando Rondo, the failed mission. Wow. Yikes. So it definitely isn't looking too good for Lil Durky. He's cooked turkey. And they're also saying it's an alleged snitch. And I shall be back with more information on that once I gather all the info that's out there and how this whole thing came together, you know, to get old Durky, the cooked turkey, busted, you guys. And like Cat Williams says, hey man, it's definitely going down in 2024, because as we're seeing, you know, even with CMG, now that, you know, Gotti's label has been put, you know, on the burner, right, saying that they put out these hits against Dolph and his label, PRE, right, Paper Route Empire. Now you have all this coming to light. You know, you even have the Tupac situation with Keefy D and, you know, trying to get justice for Pac. All this stuff has come back up, right? You have a lot of other stories out there that people are, you know, bringing to the forefront now, even with Diddy being on the burner as well. He's in the hot seat this year for, you know, being arrested on all these different charges, right? Then you have all these other people, you know, being targeted and arrested, right? And charged for crimes that they did, you know, in the past. So we're definitely seeing, you know, what Cat Williams said come true. Chicago rapper Lil Durk had planned a trip on a private jet to Italy, right before he was arrested Thursday in Florida in connection with that alleged murder for hire plot, according to federal criminal complaints unsealed in California on Friday. Banks, 32, he was charged in the complaint with contracting 5 associates to murder the Georgia rapper Quando Rondo, born Taquan Terrell Bowman, in retaliation for the 2020 slaying of Chicago rapper King Von. The complaint said that Banks put out a monetary bounty on Bowen's slaying. Wow. Now, in that shooting that was captured on surveillance video there in Los Angeles at that gas station that took the life of Quando Rondo's cousin, Savia Robinson, or better yet known as rapper Lil Pop. This is also according to the criminal charges that's being brought against Lil Durk. Banks' associates were arrested in Chicago early Thursday morning, and a series of search warrants were conducted. At the time, Banks was in Fort Lauderdale, where he subsequently booked international travel on separate flights to Dubai in Switzerland, but he did not get on either plane, according to criminal complaints. Instead, the criminal complaint alleged that the FBI learned at about 6:40 p.m. Florida time that Banks had been booked on a private jet to Italy that was scheduled to depart at 9 p.m. Law enforcement arrested Banks about an hour before the flight in the vicinity of the departing airport, according to the complaint. Banks was held in the Broward County Jail until Friday morning, where he was transferred to the custody of the U.S. Marshals, according to county representative. He had his initial appearance Friday afternoon before a magistrate judge in U.S. District Court in Miami. He waived an identity hearing and agreed to remain in custody for transport by the U.S. Marshal's Office to L.A., where he will be arraigned at a later date, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office there. The lawyer who appeared on Banks' behalf did not immediately return calls seeking comment. Banks' Chicago-based attorney, Jonathan Braidman, had no immediate comment. In Banks' charging documents, federal investigators said that witnesses and their family members have already been receiving threats and or have been contacted in what appears to be attempts to influence their participation in this investigation. Also Thursday were 5 associates of Only the Family, also known as OTF, a hip-hop collective founded by Lil Durk, a mentor of King Von, charged in that indictment, right? Those charges include conspiracy to commit murder for hire, committing murder for hire involving a death and use of a machine gun, and a violent crime resulting in death. The most severe charges carries up to the death penalty if convicted. Wow. All 5 men were arrested Thursday in Chicago area and appeared in the Durskin U.S. courthouse in the afternoon. U.S. Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert ordered the defendants held in custody pending further proceedings and the shift of the case to Los Angeles. Nearly half a dozen agents were present for those hearings in a courtroom that was packed with friends and relatives of the defendants, who all appeared in street clothes and shackled at the ankles. Courthouse security officers were guarding the courtroom door. Meanwhile, Banks' arrest comes less than a week after he performed a concert at the United Center to celebrate his birthday. He was also recently awarded keys to the city in 2 nearby west suburbs, Broadview and Bellwood. FBG Duck, the Chicago drill rapper, was killed in a hail of gunfire on Oak Street in 2020, and his death led to the convictions of several men in a federal conspiracy trial last January. Earlier this month, FBG Duck's mother filed a lawsuit alleging that Lil Durk and OTF and King Von were involved in the shooting as well. The lawsuit alleges that OTF operates as a criminal enterprise. Banks was previously convicted in Cook County of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and possession of a firearm with a defaced serial number. Through records of those cases, they were expunged in 2022. The attorney who represented Banks in those proceedings did not respond to a request to comment Friday. Around the same time, the prosecutors in Georgia dropped attempted murder charges brought against Banks in 2019. Those charges stemmed from a shooting near an Atlanta restaurant that left a man seriously injured. According to the criminal complaint filed Thursday, the rapper's former manager rented a house in LA's Encino neighborhood for the months of July, August, and September 2022. The prosecutors alleged Banks was in Los Angeles when the fatal shooting was carried out. Banks took part in a podcast that was recorded in that home, and video footage from August 18, 2022 podcast shows the host of the podcast with Banks, wherein Banks appears to be inside the Encino house, the charging document stated. According to the indictment filed Thursday against Lil Durk's associates, after tracking Bowman to the Los Angeles area, Grant rented a hotel room for the co-conspirators on August 18, 2022, and later met them there. He brought several firearms, including one that had been modified to operate as a fully automatic machine gun. Grant also provided 2 rented vehicles to use to find, track, and kill Bowman. The indictment stated, a white BMW sedan and a white Infiniti. The group followed and tracked Bowman's black Escalade from his hotel to a marijuana dispensary and then a clothing store in downtown Los Angeles, the indictment stated. A surveillance image included in the indictment allegedly shows the BMW and Infiniti following the Escalade as it traveled between stores. And when Bowman stopped at a gas station, Houston drove around the alley and let Jones and Lindsay and another unidentified co-conspirator out to carry out the shooting, according to the indictment. And according to court documents, the flights and rental cars were paid for with credit cards linked to OTF, according to prosecutors. And well, there you have it. Lil Durky, he's a cooked turkey. Wowzers. Yeah. How will Lil Durk slither his way out of this one? Maybe he won't. Maybe it's finally the end of OTF and Lil Durk, now that, the HNIC is cuffed, arrested, charged, murder for hire against rapper Quando Rondo. Well, they told us who got out the car except for one guy. They said that another co-conspirator that was unnamed also exited the vehicle to carry out the shooting. So there would be 3 guys that carried out that shooting. It was 5 guys who went, on this mission, right? And including Durk, there would be 6 people all together that will be, convicted of this crime of killing Lil Paul. But, this murder for hire plot was, put out there for Quando Rondo at the time. Now that we have more information about, who's all involved and there's no more, speculation, we do know that Lil Durky, the cooked turkey, is involved, you guys. Yeah. Now, Durk was about to hightail it out of the country, and the feds got a hold of that information. He was about to go to a couple of more different countries, right? But he was halted on those Dubai and Switzerland trips that he was planning to take on this private jet, you guys. That's right. They swooped in and cuffed old Lil Durky, the cooked turkey, right before he can hightail it out of the country. Yikes. Wowzers. So there you have it. Technology and stupidity has gotten these guys caught up in a world of trouble. And when this OTF member used that credit card that's linked back to Only the Family, the record label of Lil Durk's, that drew a lot of suspicion and attention to the actual suspects who committed the crime, allegedly, right? With all these guys being arrested, now Lil Durk being arrested and charged for murder for hire. All because of that credit card who rented those cars that were done in the shooting that led to a murder of Lil Paul, right? That Infiniti, that white BMW sedan that were used, links right back to OTF, to the credit card that Lil Durk uses for his label. And it's not looking good at all, you guys. Lil Durk had to know that this was going to happen some type of way. This guy paid for this stuff using a credit card that's linked straight to Lil Durk's record label. How stupid can you be? Wowzers. And they have all the surveillance footage showing that these guys trailed and tailed and followed, right? The location of Quando Rondo and his entourage until they got to that gas station. these guys hopped out, well, 3 of them did, and committed the shooting. But keep in mind, there was 5 of them there. So one of them driving, I guess one just sat in the passenger seat, right? While the other 3 got out the back and carried out the shooting. What was the 4th guy there for anyway? Wow, that's crazy work. Now that was a bold and brazen act that these guys carried out there. Then they just allegedly all got back on a flight and went back to Chicago. Wowzers, yeah. Because we know that they couldn't have drove back with those weapons. Now, with Durk also being placed in LA at that Encino home there where he did this podcast. Might have to go back and do a little research and see what actual podcast that was at that time. But they have Durk placed there in LA when this whole thing went down. Now that's also very incriminating for Durk to have himself in the same city, right? The same state that this whole ordeal went down in, and say, man, hey man, it looks like Lil Durky is definitely cooked turkey. So keep it locked to OG Jucario TV as I bring you more information concerning Lil Durk's arrest about this murder for hire plot to kill rapper Quando Rondo. And until next time, stay tuned to OG Jucario TV for the latest in rap, hip hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, heard you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.